Are you thinking about buying a home for the very first time right here in Houston, Texas, or anywhere in the country? If so, you're going to want to stick around because today, as a Houston real estate agent, I'm going to walk you through step by step what it's going to look like for you to buy a home and kind of what you should and shouldn't do. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into number one, which is going to be knowing and starting with your finances. So, right out of the gate, you should kind of know what your credit score is. And if you don't know, you can check through a banking app or a lender. I don't recommend Credit Karma. It honestly does more harm than good. But knowing your credit is going to do a lot of things. The second thing you should do with your finances is figure out your budget. I do not recommend spending more than 28% of your monthly income on your mortgage, and that's super easy to figure out. If you don't know how, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to walk you through what that looks like. But 28% is just a good rule of thumb to start with, okay? And knowing your finances just helps you out, so that way you know how much you can afford. You're not out here looking at $1 million homes if you can't afford it, and it's a really good starting place, okay? Step number two, and again, I've already said it, but it's reaching out to a real estate agent, hiring a realtor. And I'm not just saying this because I am one. I'm saying this because we really can help. We really can help take some of that headache, some of that strain off of the process. And look, you are investing in one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. You're going to want to have somebody on your side who represents you and only you to take care of you. Just kind of like if you was going to court, you would want to have a lawyer who is on your side to take care of you. Same way we're buying a home. We are here for you. But what we offer is we're knowledgeable on the area. We know where certain neighborhoods are, certain property tax areas. Just we know a little bit or a lot of it about the area, and we can help guide you through that process and what it looks like, okay? Overall, hire a realtor. It's going to really help you. Now, with that being said, if you are moving to the Houston, Texas area and you want somebody to help you, buy a home, and with that being said, if you live in Houston and you're just looking to buy a home and you need a real estate agent to help you with that, I am more than happy to help. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and there's a link in the description below to set up a time or to set up a moment for me to give you a call. With that being said, let's move into number three, which is a biggie. Kind of goes back to number one, and it's getting pre-approved. Now, a lot of people, for whatever reason, they decide to skip this process. Under any circumstance, you should not skip this step, and here's why. Now, if you are if you have just thousands and thousands of dollars and you're deciding to pay cash, you don't have to get pre-approved. But majority of us don't have $300,000 sitting in our pocket, so we have to get pre-approved. So there's a lot of reasons for this, and one of the most important reasons, and I cannot stress this enough, guys, is that it's going to not only show you what you're able to buy, okay? Because what's going to happen to get pre-approved, you have to reach out to a lender. Now, I have 3 lenders that I can recommend to you for you to reach out to, or they can reach out to you, but they're going to run your credit. They're going to look at your documents, look at all of your financials, and they're going to say, hey, I can pre-approve you on X, Y, and Z. And then that's going to give you a good base to know what homes you should be looking at. But when they give you and I the pre-approval letter, it's going to make you a serious buyer. So when you decide to put an offer in on a home, guess what? That seller is going to be like, oh, they have a pre-approval. They're way above what they're pre-approved for. They have a really good offer. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, right? Compared to if you skip this process or skip this step and you're not pre-approved and you find that house on 123 Banana Street that you absolutely love and you decide you want to put an offer on, my next thing to you is I'm going to tell you, you have to be pre-approved for us to put an offer in. That's going to take a day or 2 or 3 or 4, just depending on the lender, right? In those 2 to 4 days, you have the opportunity to lose this home because little Johnny's going to come along that didn't skip this step, and they're going to put an offer in, and that seller's going to say the same thing, and they're going to sell it to them, and you're going to lose that home. So do not skip the pre-approval process. It's good for you, and it's good for everybody. Let's be honest. And some of the things to know is when you go into this step, you're going to want your tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, photos of your driver's license, social security card, possibly, things of that nature. Go ahead and have that ready so that way when the lender asks, you just, quick email over to them and it's taken care of, okay? Now, you're pre-approved. amazing, right? You pre-approved for 500,000, you can afford 2,800 a month. I've done the numbers, I know what we can look at. The next thing is we want to find the right neighborhood. Now, this can look different for everybody, but here's kind of the gist. If you don't know where in Houston or where in North Houston or whatever you want to live, you got to pick a side, right? North Houston, West, South Houston. But you also have to pick a neighborhood. Well, you don't have to, but you have to pick an area, right? So, for example, when me and my wife moved, me and my wife sat down together and we decided, hey, what are some important things to us? And we basically wrote it out and we looked on a map and we said, hey, we want to be in this section right here. And that's what I started looking at, and I started showing my wife, obviously myself too, homes in that area. And it's kind of what I mean by showing or picking a neighborhood, knowing what you want to be close to, what amenities you want. Do you want to be close to the interstate, or is that not so important? So knowing these things are important. The other thing to think about with this is knowing your commute times. If you work, and I'm using Houston, but this goes to anywhere in the country. If you work in South Houston, you're not going to want to buy a house in North Houston because it's going to take you an hour and a half to get to work. Or maybe you do. I don't, but maybe you do. So knowing where you work is a big factor. Knowing where your kids or where you might go to school is a big factor in picking that neighborhood, picking that community, okay? Neighborhood to community necessarily doesn't mean Grand Central Park or Artavia or Audubon or the Woodland Hills. It is just an area that I want us to kind of like narrow down on so I can show you homes inside of that area, okay? Now, with that being said, if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that notification bell so that way you know when I post more content on buying homes and living right here in Houston, Texas. So, moving into number 5, and number 5 is the best part. It's everybody's favorite part, and it's also usually where people honestly start getting kind of stressed out, okay? And it's house hunting. It's time to start house hunting. Now, you can only do this if you have a realtor's help. So number 2 is very important. Number 2 has to be complete. You have to hire a realtor. But at this point, you want to start house hunting. And each realtor, each agent does things a little bit differently, okay? But some of the things to focus on is not just focusing on the aesthetics, but you also kind of want to focus on, AC, the major components of a home: foundation, AC, roof, electrical, plumbing, those kind of things, right? Because nobody wants to buy a home that has a leaky roof, a bad AC unit, smells horrible, cracks in the foundation. Nobody wants that. So again, that's some of the things that you really want to focus on. I'm not saying don't focus on how pretty the house is. Focus on that too, but take that with a grain of salt. Also focus on the cracks in the foundation and the AC unit and all those things as well. And the layout. Layout is very important for you and your family. So the other thing that I highly recommend is always take notes. One of the things that I like to do with my clients is this: is if I show you house number 1, and then I take you to house number 2. When we're in house number 2, we are going to compare. Does house number 2 beat house number 1? If house number 2 beats house number 1, we are going to forget about it. And we're going to go to house number 3. Does house number 3 beat house number 2? No, we're going to forget about house number 3, okay? And as we go through this step, I keep a mental note, and I also take notes on my phone on what it is that you like and you don't like, so that way in the future I can show you more homes of what you like and stop wasting our time on what you don't like, okay? But I highly encourage you to do the same thing. I want you to take notes on everything: the kitchens, the bathrooms, bedrooms, carpet, flooring, everything. Take notes. Take lots of notes, okay? You can do it on your phone, you can share it with your wife, your husband, whatever. Just take notes. Highly recommend it, because after about 4 homes, they start blending together and you kind of start forgetting about what home is what, and that's not good, okay? So 5 is starting the house hunting process, which is everybody's favorite process. But I think number 6 is the best step here. We've been looking at houses for 2 weeks. We found the one, and it's time to make an offer. We are going to make an offer on this home, and that looks different on every single home, whether new construction or resale. It just looks different, okay? But as your realtor, I'm going to run numbers and kind of guide you through what a competitive offer for the home that you like would be, and then we're going to submit it. Okay. Now, when we submit it, one of three things can happen. Well, one of two things can happen. They're either going to accept it, decline it, decline it, or counter offer. Okay, and that's just part of the process. Let's say they go ahead and accept it. We submitted the offer, they accept it. It is time to go under contract on your beautiful home. This is where we are going to order a third-party inspection, which I always recommend. People skip it for some reason. I don't understand why. I will always tell you to get a third-party inspection because it's incredibly important. Nobody wants a leaky roof. Nobody at all. So, third-party inspection and appraisal, we're going to go through that process, and then we're going to finalize the deal. And it's going to take roughly 30 to 60 days depending on the home. But at the very end of it, on closing day, you're going to sign a whole bunch of paperwork, and then you're going to get the beautiful keys to your brand new home. So, with that being said, sorry, my voice is starting to crack a little bit. With that being said, buying a home is not as difficult as the majority of people make it sound. It is super easy, and having a very experienced, very good real estate agent in your corner can always go a long ways in this process, especially with first-time home buyers. So, with that being said, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if there's anything that you would like to know more information on. But with all that being said, if you did like this video, go ahead and click this video right here. I'm sure you'll like it. It's another great video. But with all that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.